Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice, as Rayfa attempts to try the Divination Seance one more time, with the penalty for her failing being both Phoenix and Apollo's lives. With that pressure built on her, Apollo and Phoenix believe in her, and have expressed that belief, hopefully leading to the information we need to break this case wide open. Of course you'd object. You're trying to stop it because you don't want us to get any evidence. Rayfa, stop this madness. It is for your own good. You were ill prepared to face your father's death. You go. Leave this sacred hall at once. No. What did you say? I said no, mother. For I am the royal priestess of Khura'in. I have no need for you now. Even if you do not need me, mother. Hornhead and this Hall of Justice do. He proved that to me by risking his own life. It is because of him that I now understand. The Divination Seance is my sacred duty. I must fulfill it, no matter the risk. Your benevolence. Mother taught me that the Divination Seance was a mirror reflecting naught but the truth. But I began to have my doubts after Barbed Head disproved the insights it offered. And now, I don't even know who or what to trust anymore. Father, Mother, even Naina. I believed in them above all others. But I finally know now. I know in what I can trust. The royal priestess must debate each seance with the presiding lawyer and prosecutor. So that it can be interpreted properly. That is how I believe trials here in Khura'in should function. Therefore, the Hall of Justice needs me. It is my power that leads trials toward the truth. That is my sacred duty, and I will never shirk from it again. That right there, your benevolence, is the product of what you've learned in your struggles so far. The truth that you realize with your own strength. As my sacred duty, I must ensure that it is fulfilled. I must have the courage and resolve to see it through. Your Eminence, the Royal Priestess says she will conduct the Divination Seance. I see no grounds for you to forbid it. Unless, of course, you are worried that it might reveal something you find inconvenient. Mother! I am done letting you have your way. Rayfa? You would actually rebel against me? Your mother and queen? Though I am scared to see my father's death. I must face my fear. That is what Hornhead has taught me here today. Rayfa.
I am the royal priestess Rayfa Padma Khura'in. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
Your Eminence, it seems the princess is more grown up than you thought. Rayfa. Well then, let us proceed with the Divination Seance. The victim's final moments. This should be interesting. I wonder what Inga's memories are going to show us.
O Holy Mother, we hold this Divination Seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
So our lives are saved. And now what do we witness? Uh-oh. Well, that was a lot happening, but why wasn't Dirk's face on show, etc.? Huh. What in the... A faceless being? What the heck? His face is just like... a picture of the founder. I think that's the last thing anyone expected to see. Oh, Father, what was it? What was it you saw?
Are we to understand this was the last thing the victim saw?
Yes, there can be no mistake. That was what my father himself witnessed.
How very strange. You don't suppose the Holy Mother possessed the accused and slew Minister Inga for planning a coup?
The divine wrath of the Holy Mother! Oh, Holy Mother, we are ever grateful for your blessings. Talk about a sharp left turn into the Twilight Zone. You know, there's one thing in there that caught my attention.
There's a lot of things that caught my attention. Explosions.
The footsteps didn't come near until the pain. That laugh. Who's it belong to? And why are they laughing? Who knows? I suppose it could be Dirk after he slew my husband. Well, that figure didn't even have a mouth. Ho ho ho. I think we're done here, lawyer. How so? You claim that Minister Inga was stabbed in his private quarters. And, feeling no pain, went to the tomb, where he eventually fell dead. But this seance vision proves he was stabbed in the tomb and felt great pain, no less. Oh, that. Therefore, as I asserted all along, it was the accused who stabbed the minister in the tomb. Ah, everything just backfired big time. Wow, Khura'in has the devil's own luck, doesn't she? Now then, I shall give voice to the soul of the deceased. Listen well and heed these words. Rayfa's insight. At around 3 PM, my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. He was drinking grape juice while gazing up upon the picture of the Holy Mother. He had been waiting vigilantly when suddenly he heard Dirk's voice. The next moment, he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed, and the attacker let out a laugh. Here's my problem with this. I've got one already. So what now, Mr. Wright? It's up to us to knock holes in Rayfa's interpretations of Inga's memories. In other words, we need to prove that our understanding of them could be mistaken. Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm already looking at the statement about Dirk's voice. Inga would know Dirk's voice. So if we scroll this, he heard Dirk's voice. All we actually get here is... It's a bit later. This was a bit long. A man's voice. So how do I pause it again? So he's been hearing a man's voice all this time and he hasn't turned around at all. He's not responded to it whatsoever. This is supposed to be one of his greatest enemies as well, and he's just not turned around. Isn't that just weird? He has a gun on him and everything. He's doing something that should be what we consider to be evil, after all. Hostage taking, leverage, taking something in exchange. And he's not paying attention to the voice whatsoever? That's just a little too weird for me. So shall we say it's this, most likely? Along with the fact he heard Dirk's voice, but it's only a man's voice?
Objection!
It's got to be one of those factors. Your benevolence. There seems to be an inconsistency in your interpretation. An inconsistency? Where? Mr. Inga is far too relaxed for what was supposedly about to take place. When he heard the voice you claim is Dirk's, he didn't seem the least bit alarmed. He just kept looking at the picture of the founder. Huh. That's strange, right? He was waiting for Dirk to arrive with the founder's orb. But when he heard that voice, he didn't even turn to look. Don't you think he would have been worried about being attacked from behind? Huh! Then whose voice was it? It was likely someone whose presence wouldn't have alarmed him. Someone like a friend.
Objection!
But there was no third party at the scene of the crime. Therefore, the voice can only have belonged to Dirk. The voice of a third party who wasn't there in the tomb. Apollo, don't we have something that could reveal the owner of the mystery voice? You know, I think we do. Something that Inga had while he was waiting for Dirk. With it, we just might be able to figure out whose voice it was. I believe we can identify the male voice Minister Inga heard with this. So, what are we looking at here? Well, it's got to be something that took place at the scene, at the time. So this is the stuff. We got the tomb diagram, we got the tomb photo here. And that might be our answer. Right there in that picture. So, Dirk wasn't there at that time? Oh, actually, wouldn't that just say that... Okay, so he's talking to a friend, an ally, or someone he knows, but he's talking to him on the phone at the time, because he had the phone in his hand, and it was out at the time of, and it was open at the time of death. The problem is, doesn't this make it seem like now Dirk snuck up behind him and stabbed him in the back? If I say that, even though that's obviously what he wants me to get at.
Take that!
That's my father's... I know this must be hard for you, but could you please look at this photo? There's something here that can point us towards the identity of the voice. This is the real source of the man's voice. But it is all about finding the truth, incriminating or not, right?
Take that!
A cell phone? Right. I believe that the voice the minister heard was of a call on his cell phone.
I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. What is your eminence's view on the matter?
I concede the possibility. Then it seems I must refine my revision? Revision of the vision, yes. Okay, subordinate's voice. That's been changed to. It appears that the voice belonged to one of my father's subordinates. Why do you suppose he was talking to one of them then? My father had members of the secret police positioned throughout the palace. They were supposed to contact him as soon as they saw Dirk and the rest of you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Your benevolence, I believe you have an insight to revise? I know, barbed head. Don't presume to tell me how to do my duty. Alright, what's changed? My father then took a call from a subordinate at the palace. So the voice was coming from the phone. That's good to know. But there might have been other sounds coming from the phone. Sounds that could be clues. Let's take another look at Rayfa's insights and really focus on the various sensations. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this now. So it looks like we're still hovering around the same statement, considering what was said about the phone, and this is a thing that's about the phone. Has anything changed? This all looks the same thus far. Subordinate's voice. Hello. Lion roar, dogs bark, pain. So, this statement is, my father then took a call from the subordinate at the palace. However, dog bark at the palace? Not really. Lions roar at the palace? That's a warbird. So that sounds like it's in the bazaar.
Objection!
So that's not right either. I hate to break it to you, Your Benevolence, but you misinterpreted something again. What do you mean? Again? Smooth move, Apollo. I think you just hurt her feelings. She may put on a brave face, but she feels more than she lets on. Let me rephrase that, Your Benevolence. Your interpretation of your father's phone call to his subordinate at the palace is inconsistent with his final memory. What do you mean by that? A lion's roar could be heard over the phone. Don't you find that strange? You claim the call was with someone at the palace. But let me ask you, do you keep lions there? No, the only animals of the palace are little birdies and my pet frog. She's a pet frog? Wait, that giant one in front of the minister's house is a pet. Besides, there aren't any lions in Khura'in. We don't even have any zoos. A rather sad state of affairs, I'm afraid. Well, I remember hearing a sound like that. The lion's roar coming from the phone is actually from something hanging out in the bazaar. Isn't that the cry of the warbird over in the bazaar? Ah! Your Benevolence, do you think you can clarify the voice for me? Very well. I will now attempt to further refine my vision. Warbird's cry. What's this? That seems more like the power of suggestion, to be honest. Just as I suspected, it was the call of a warbird. That means the subordinate Minister Inga was talking to was in the bazaar, not the palace. But why is it important where the call came from? What significance could it have? She's right. Is it important to know where the call was made from? I guess it's very important. Based on how things are going, but I just suddenly went in my head. There's not just the sound of a warbird. There's also the sound of a dog. Alright, what's this say? Around 2 PM, Dad slept out of the bazaar manhole, got yelled at by a dog and a warbird, and then threw a firecracker. The time has changed drastically. Explosion, warbird, dog. The police come along and detain the rebel, which is what police officer was on the phone. And Shadow already had Naina's hat, etc. It's very, very important. It's actually very important. Knowing that the person on the other end was at the bazaar means that the loud explosion might not have been the sound of a gunshot. But, I can think of no other item that makes such a noise in the area. Go ahead, Apollo. Tell her. Tell Rayfa the real source of that sound. Will do. Well, Hornhead, I'm waiting. What was the true source of that explosive sound? Let's give that statement as perfect testimony, thank you.
Take that!
What is that? It's I'll be your guy's statement. In it, he claims that that's a rebel threw a firecracker in while he was at the bazaar. Then... Yes, the sound heard over the phone was a firecracker exploding. Ah!
Objection!
And yet, a bullet was found at the scene of the crime. A bullet fired from Mr. Inga's gun. How do you explain that? Well, we don't know whether it was fired during the course of the crime, right? Or do you have evidence that proves when the pistol was discharged? No, I have none. Wait a second. If that loud bang was a firecracker, then could that laugh at the end have been... No, it can't be. Is it Dats? Oh, it can. And it is. The laugh came from none other than... the Joker who got a kick out startling Albie with his dragon snot snaps. That happy-go-lucky, that's a rebel. What? Someone should really put a leash on that guy.
I shudder to think how one man can be the cause of so much trouble. Hey there, AJ, BW. You all can thank me later. No one asked for your commentary, Mr. Rebel. Your benevolence, and you need to provide your insight.
It would appear so. This kind of feels like filtering to get impurities out of something, doesn't it? And in the end, we're left with the pure thing. My father took a call from his subordinate at the bazaar. Oh, and the true source of that loud bang was the firecracker that's through. And that final laugh belonged to none other than Dats himself. Well, this changes everything. Let's go over the details of Rayfa's insight again. Okay. I think I've got this down now. Time to find another inconsistency. See, the thing is, what we've done is those statements all sound to be what are the truth. Oh, here we go, straight away. Yes, this is something we know not to be true now. The first statement. I know other stuff's going on at this point, but at around 3 PM, my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange is the goal. So that is obviously the complete inconsistency. Now, what do we mix it to? Anything at this point? I mean, any of this could go right? So now we got to choose, like, a good period of time to do stuff with. And we haven't even got to the Faceless Dirk yet. Wait, I said the Faceless Dirk as well. So I didn't want to actually pause anything then. I was looking for something. No, we... No, yeah. I was just thinking, the faceless face has a diamond on the head rather than a dot. No, forward again. Forward again. I want to see more. I want to see more of the Dirk. I'm interested in seeing exactly what this dirt looks like, trying to, like, get any more information about that for the time being, which is completely opposite of what we should be doing. So it does have an eye patch. Does the eye patch have anything inscribed on it? It's a bit weird itself. Now that is a diamond rather than a dot. Alright. We've kind of poked at a lot of things in the middle of this thing. Incense, grapes, sour, makes sense. We got the incense, the walking, the footsteps coming later. So what I'm wondering is if we're definitely going with the statement, right? But if I'm going with one of these ending things here. Because of course that's time of death is like here. And this is very much at 2 PM. This is definitely at 2 PM.
and we know that there are multiple corroborative things. And the warbird and all that is it as well, but we've just poked to that a little bit already. I imagine it would be doing anything, right? There's about 1 billion different things that we can prove to this statement, but I know what I want to get. I just don't know what I'm getting it to. Am I now trying to use something that I haven't used based on the whole theory of use what evidence you haven't used yet right at the end of a case, even though we're not at the end of the case, rather than just constantly using the same stuff? I don't even know. Okay, well, I don't know how much penalty you get, but we can try the explosion, then we could try the warbird, we could try the laughter, we could try the dog's bark, but it's all 2 PM, right?
Objection!
Your benevolence. There's a glaring problem with this insight.
There is?
You stated that the murder happened at around 3 PM, which is right around the time my client arrived on the scene. However, now that we know what the source of the loud bang is, your insight conflicts with a certain piece of evidence. I suppose I have to ask the obvious here. What evidence conflicts with the claim the murder occurred at 3 PM? I'm pretty sure I could have clicked on anything, to be perfectly honest, on that statement. Or at least you should have let me do it. Because there's so many things here that say 2 PM, warbird, dog, firecracker. Any of them would have probably done. Let's Albie's statement again.
Take that!
I'll be your guy's statement. Again? Now we're re-going over evidence, even though I said not. Yes, because to summarize what he said, at around 2 PM, Shadow was surprised by a firecracker and ran into the palace courtyard. Around 2 PM? That's right. 2 PM. Not 3 PM.
Ah! Are you suggesting?
I think you know where I'm going with this. That's his laugh, the cry of the warbird, and the bang of the firecracker were all heard right before Minister Inga's death. Thanks to Albie's statement, we can put a definitive timestamp on all of these sounds. Therefore, what this vision shows is that it's extremely likely that deceased's final moments were at 2 rather than 3 as we had originally thought.
Dare I ask?
It means the murder took place a full hour before Dirk entered the tomb.
Polkanka! How can this be? Are you saying that I, the very personification of the law, have been mistaken?
Oh, an else. Now you see why justice will always prevail. I'm guessing they're false. Peace! Peace, I say! And now then, defense. I must remind you the figure of the accused was clearly shown in the vision. How do you explain that? How do we explain that? I wouldn't say it was clearly shown. After all, the figure didn't actually have a face. Ah, you're absolutely right. Without a face, we can't be certain of who it was. We can't indeed, as another episode, A Spirit of Justice, comes to an end. We have some explaining to do with that, but I can guess kind of what lines we might be going on here. Because we've got things that very much pertain to people's, like, looks. If we're looking at other evidence that have been around the place, it's been weird that we have, like, a guide to people's characteristics. In fact, when you look at the characteristics, those are the characteristics said, rather than those really displayed, which is very interesting, a correlation, as maybe that's our next piece to present in the future, if we're giving that evidence now. I'll see you next time for more Phoenix Wright. Bye bye.